Hi, my name is Caroline Lawrence, and today I'm going to tell you about my latest book for Barrington Stoke, The Queen of the Silver Arrow, and why I wrote it. It comes from Virgil's Aeneid. Here's Virgil from a mosaic from ancient Roman times, and he lived in Naples in the 1st century BC. He lived during the time of Julius Caesar, of Cleopatra. He saw the assassination of Caesar and the suicide of Cleopatra and the rise of the young Emperor Augustus. Virgil was a contemporary of Cicero, the great politician, and of Horace, another great poet. And he'd written 2 successful poems when the young Augustus commissioned him to write an epic poem which would be kind of Rome's origin story, and it would glorify Augustus and help him on his rise to power. It was called the Aeneid. And of course it's become one of the great masterpieces of Western literature. The Aeneid's called after Aeneas. Let's see if I have a picture of him here. Aeneas was, of course, one of the Trojans from the Trojan War cycle. And when, after the Greeks brought in the Trojan horse and burned Troy, Aeneas and a small band of Trojans actually escaped and went to find a new homeland. Here's Aeneas from a fresco being doctored. Aeneas spends the first 6 books of the Aeneid sailing around trying to find a homeland. That kind of echoes the Odyssey. And he spends the second 6 books of the Aeneid battling to make himself a homeland in Italy, because he's destined to be the founder of the Roman race. His main opponent in Italy is a warrior called Turnus, who's very fierce and arrogant and good-looking. And Turnus gets together a lot of Italian allies and helpers. Among some of Turnus's helpers is this amazing warrioress called Camilla. Now, Camilla is one of the few invented characters in the Aeneid. Almost every character in the Aeneid is known to us from Greco-Roman myth cycles, like the Iliad and the Odyssey and Greek tragedy. But Camilla's an invention of Virgil, and she's really fascinating. She's in the back end of the Aeneid that nobody ever reads unless they're a classicist, or they read it in translation. And I wanted to know more about her. Her story is quite self-contained. She appears in books 7 and book 11, which almost nobody reads. And we first see her as a tiny baby being carried by her father, King Metabus. We see him running through a forest with his daughter Camilla in one hand and a spear in the other. He's being pursued by his own subjects. And he comes to a torrent, and the only way across is for him to swim, but he can't swim with the baby girl. So what he does is he straps her to his spear with strips of cork that happen to be lying around and tosses her over, with a prayer to Diana. Diana, if you protect my baby daughter, I'll devote her to you. She'll be a virgin huntress for the rest of her life. So to find out how that little baby on a spear becomes the warrior queen Camilla, the queen of the silver arrow, I hope that you'll read this book.